Three, two, one, action. Hey, it's the sport guy here, Austin. I'm here with my good buddy Jake Teta. This is episode 9 of the A Team. Jake joining us from Louisiana, which is always nice to get someone from out of town on the podcast. And he's one of the guys in the Plat 8 Mustard Tiger crew. So he's a legend. He's definitely a legend. Little more of an enigma than most of the group, but I'm glad to have him on the podcast today. And Jake, if you want to just kind of let the people know who you are, maybe give you a little origin story of Jake Teta and how we met, that kind of thing.
Let's see here. My name's Jake Teta. I moved from Austin back to Lafayette not too long ago, and I opened a commercial drywall and paint company. And I'm recently divorced, and just kind of getting into the single life.
Yeah, and so let's kind of touch on that a little bit. The first thing, opening up your own business, that has to be terrifying to go out on your own like that and kind of try to blaze a path. That's what you were doing when I met you. I think at the Blue Moon. I remember you were working with your dad.
Yes.
So you've kind of been doing it for someone else for quite a long while, but jumping out and doing it on your own, that's a whole nother can of worms. What kind of I guess how you deal with like the stress? I think the stress would kill me.
It is terrifying. But that's kind of, I guess, one of the fun things, I guess, about it. It's such a crazy, I'm in charge of everything, from bidding to working to just making sure everything's right, to office, to accounting. It's very scary, but at the same time, it's very fun. It's something that I think I needed to do for myself after doing it, being in the business for so long. I felt like, if I didn't do it, it would be a disservice to myself.
Yeah, I could see wanting to blaze your own path and get out of that shadow that your father cast, because he cast a pretty big one. You tried your hand at corporate America. Why don't you talk to me about how that experience was, going to work at that small computer company there in Round Rock?
Yeah, so being in construction for as soon as I graduated, I started, working for my dad, being in construction, and I always was curious what corporate because you always saw Jeff and Chase and you guys, talking about corporate America, talking about sales, and it always seemed so fun. So it always made me feel like, I'm missing out on this, on such a good time, but it's a different grind. My buddy Chase, he got me a job at Dell, and started working over there, and it's just different. Being in the same office, every single day, and it was a really good experience. But kind of once I got in there, I kind of saw that I don't know, it was just different. I missed the daily grind of construction work.
Yeah, that small computer company in Round Rock, it is a different experience. I realized the other day that I've been staring at a computer screen selling stuff for 15 years, and my eyes, I wear glasses, and my eyes are starting to kind of give out. I gotta go get some more glasses because I'm having trouble seeing. And sometimes when I go outside and it's a really nice day, I'm like, wait, it's a really nice day outside. I don't know anything about that outside life. I'm the inside man.
Yeah.
And so I can see how.
I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, go ahead.
That was another thing. I would be at Dell, and I would be sitting there, quotas made, everything's wonderful. And I'd be looking out that window, and I'd see a guy digging in a ditch. And I'd be like, man, I wish I was out there fucking digging that ditch. So, just kind of being stuck in the office just kind of It was different. It's not bad. It's different. Like, like I don't have a problem working in like 20-degree weather or 100-degree weather inside a building. Like that doesn't bother me.
Right.
Yeah.
The other thing I was going to ask you is, how did the train take it whenever you decided you were going to go out and forge your own path with your own painting company instead of coming back to kind of be the heir apparent to what he's built?
How did he take it when I initially like left to go to Austin, or whenever I opened my own business?
A little bit of both, a little bit of both.
A little bit of both. Initially he was support. He understood. I mean, I talked to him. I said, look, because I was one of his, if not his best guy in the field, and it definitely affected his business with me leaving. And but he understood that me and my wife wanted to move and try something different. So he was very understanding. And then with me opening my own company, like the train, he's never gonna retire. Like he's always been like, you can come work. You don't need to open your own company. You can come work for me. You can take over the business when I retire. But I know him. He's just saying that. Like he's not gonna. He'll be 90 years old, still working 80 hours a week, and I don't want to be, once he goes on and it becomes my business, I don't want to be 70 years old, trying to figure out how to run a business. I want to go through the tough times now.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. Did he share any insights with you about, how to kind of get started and like what you need to do, or any kind of guidance in that respect?
Yes. Getting started was, it'd been so long since he got to, because it was like to start a bit, getting LLC, getting licensed. That was all stuff he did 30 something years ago. So he didn't really have, I just had to basically just research and figure that aspect on my own. But some of the other, business related things on how to deal with stress and how to, the day to day and like what to do in the field and different circumstances, he's always able to help, consistently on a day to day basis.
What does he say? How does one deal with stress? I have, a ton of anxiety and different things, and sometimes I catch myself almost on the verge of panic attacks. So how do you or how does he kind of recommend you kind of unwind or deal with that?
Unfortunately, it's just stress and anxiety is unfortunately just a part of the day to day of opening a new construction company in a new area where you don't have any, friends that are contractors that know you and that want to use you. And then just even if you do have that, jobs are just stressful. They don't always, go the way they're supposed to go in construction. So you just have to, after years and years of seeing it just on a day-to-day basis, you just try to deal with it just the best you can because it's not going nowhere.
Right, but I mean, you said he gave you some tips on how to handle it. What would he tell you? Like, what were his words of wisdom? Drown it with the beer?
I mean, he still has stress. He still deals with the
of
stress.
Course.
So when he's telling me how to deal with it, he's basically saying, yes, it's stressful. But all these jobs are going to be stressful, and at the end of the day, if you're healthy, because he's gone through a lot of health stuff, so he's just like, look, if you're healthy, you just do the best you can on these jobs, you man the jobs the best you can, and then you just go from there. He said, we're not saving lives, we're building a building, and every job we've ever done has been built. So, it's just stress you put on yourself that you just
You worry
out.
about stuff that does never happen, right? That's the big thing, is like you're
Yeah.
always worried about stuff. You have these things that you're like, oh, what if this goes wrong? What if this goes wrong? And you get stressed out about it. But then everything, even if it does go wrong, you're just going to adapt and overcome. That's how it goes. You adapt and you overcome.
Yeah.
Now, having the train, he's just a legendary persona. Through fantasy is how I know him. I couldn't imagine, what was it like growing up with that guy as your dad? Was he like a real strict disciplinarian type? That's how I see him.
No. I mean, he's so, that voice, that voice he has. He's very loud, and so if you're a kid, and you hear a shout from the train, you immediately just kind of, snap out of it, and listen, just because he talks about 4 times louder than you're supposed to. So he was, he's always kind of a very nice, funny, but he knows how to be intimidating when he needs to be. When you're a kid,
right on,
and
of course, right. I mean, I wouldn't want to cross him for sure.
No.
Now, I have dubbed my story here. My life is the movie that will be made eventually. My life as a crazy person. If you had to title your story, what would you go with? How would you title your?
Man, just I don't know. Just trying to get through it. I don't know. I'm not sure, Austin. I don't know.
Well, that's fine. No, marinate on it, and have an answer. At some point, because that is something I like to hear from everybody. Everybody's got a different tale, a different way that their life has gone, and so I always like to hear what.
Right now, it's just with so much change happening and so much kind of in the air, and the starting of a new business. It's just it's a lot of turmoil and change and stuff going on. So it's just hard to kind of see a direction, I guess, right now.
Right. And you mentioned it at the beginning that, obviously we're talking about your business, Mustard Tiger Painting. Is that what it ended up being called?
That's what it's called.
Right on. And I know you're in Louisiana, but I don't remember if it's, no, you're not in Alexandria, right?
I'm in Lafayette. Okay.
That's where the Bulldog is, the famous Bulldog.
That's where the debauchery happened that night.
Right. And I guess I was thinking about how we met, and there, obviously I think you have a version maybe at the Bulldog with that story that I told with Ryan. That's one story. Well, you said something earlier, and I think you need to let the people know what I am when I get loose. You said I was a hype man.
Oh, yeah.
That's
a bomb.
I had never heard that before, that I was a hype man. But I remember once we got kicked out of the Bulldog after that classic incident, we went to some bar, Brightside. Does that sound right?
No, it was a city bar.
It was a dance bar. It was a dance bar. It was a dance bar, and there was a circle that formed, and I was tearing it up in the circle, and then they just threw me right out of there.
Yes, but when you were tearing it up, I can't remember who it was, but you were sitting there. I don't know if it was Jeff or if it was me or if it was some random dude, but you were being a freaking hype man in this group, and it was really incredible to see. It's one of my first memories of you, and it was just hilarious.
Dude, when it comes to dancing, yes, you got to cheer everybody on, because it's awkward to dance when everybody's looking at you in a circle. So I always want to give them as much energy as I can to make them feel comfortable. So that's what I was. Oh, I know. And then apparently it was too much energy. They didn't like it. I was wasted too. Yeah, I was wasted. I was gonna try to defend myself and say I hadn't even had that much to drink, but I was like, no. There was a cane strip in there where I fell asleep for a minute. It was bad. I'm trying to think. Was last year your actual first full year in business, or?
Yes. So I've been in business now for about a year and a half, but it took a little while. When you bid jobs in construction, it takes 6 months to a year for them to start. So initially, I was, a year and a half ago, I was bidding jobs, and I'm currently on the jobs that I was bidding a year and a half ago. But it took a year for them to actually get going.
And the bidding part, you'd already been accustomed to doing that for your father, or was that something that was newer to you?
A touch for him, but whenever I left that small company, that small computer company in Austin,
right, Round Rock, yeah.
I went and worked for a company that a very large company that did high rises and stuff like that, and they put me in the office.
Oh, that's right.
So
yeah,
I got a lot of estimating experience there.
Yeah, you told me that one was just like a 24/7 nightmare. Everything was just everything that could go wrong was always going wrong, and they're always calling you. And I remember that one. So now, one thing that we can't gloss over, and I think it bears mentioning. Unfortunately, you said you were going through a separation there.
Yes.
How are you guys officially divorced at this point? Or are you still working it out?
Yes, we are officially divorced.
So
it took a while. Louisiana law doesn't allow you to immediately get divorced. You have to be separated for 6 months.
Wow.
So you end up in like a kind of a purgatory, just kind of waiting for your divorce to go through. But it's official. We're divorced now.
Right, and
it's a good thing.
I don't know if you want to touch on some of the relationship issues that you guys had, or anything like that, or what caused the split. Just kind of go on your separate paths, right? Or
yeah, it was just a mutual, just kind of a mutual deal. Just kind of we came to the table and just decided after some therapy that, hey, it's time to, we should probably go our separate ways. There's some more stuff there, but rather not,
And of course, there's always gonna be gremlins out there. If you would have ever talked to me before you would have married her, I would have told you not to. But I didn't get the consult. I didn't get the consult.
Yeah.
I would advise against that marriage personally, just for the record. But I didn't even get the invite to the wedding.
Spoke up. I really wish.
Well, no, I mean, it's not my place to tell you when you're in love. When you're in love, you're in love. And
exactly.
that's one thing. That's one thing that I think will conquer all. Is that love will conquer all. But it can only go so far, and there's certain things that are just insurmountable that you're not going to ever win. So I would have advised against it, but I didn't even make it to the wedding. So
yeah. Oh goodness. So I've transitioned on from the whole divorce thing, and I'm kind of into a new area in my life right now.
Yeah.
Trying out these new dating apps.
Okay. Tell me more.
Let's see. It's just I don't know. It's these. So when you're I was with my wife for a long time, so I missed the dating apps, social media. I've never been really big into social media. So now it's a different world. It's a very strange world to navigate.
Right.
Yeah.
How many apps do you have? How many dates have you been on?
So there's Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge. And currently I'm on all three.
Right.
But they're all different. And but I've probably been on 4 or 5 dates.
4 or 5 dates. Okay. So 4 or 5 dates. Any crazy things happen on these 4 or 5 dates, or are they all pretty standard? Do you go for like a more casual coffee meeting, or do you go straight to dinner? What kind of activities are you building with these dates?
I typically like to just start with some type of drink at first. Initially, I would prefer to say coffee, because when you say like, "Hey, let's go grab a beer," it's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of like, "Hey, let's go to this bar." It's kind of, but it always comes off wrong asking somebody for coffee. They think it comes off weirder than asking for a beer. So I just ask for, "Hey, let's go grab a beer." But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting thing to me is just you sit there, you have to swipe through like literally like hundreds and thousands. You're sitting there, your judge, your jury, your executioner. It's daily rejection, constant rejection the whole time. It's like and then to like keep up with it, it's, you have to respond. It's like a part-time job. It's just, it's a very strange, just transitioning into it is very weird.
Yeah, I mean, I could understand that. Like you said, it's a different world. You really have a different set of rules that were in place. I've been with Dominique now for, if we make it to the summer, 10 years, we'll be gone. To think about going out there and trying to reconnect with that world, it's just, I don't think it gives me a little bit of anxiety and got a little tightness in my chest just thinking about it. I had an idea for a dating app, but it's a couples app. At one point, I was working on it. A
couples app to make friends, or a couples.
Right. Yeah. So I called it Couple Up, and it was supposed to be designed for couples to meet other couples to do date nights. So because me and Dominique, I was just thinking about this is how the idea came about. Was I was just sitting around, and we don't have any couple friends. We have no couple friends, no friends that are couples.
Yeah.
And the ones that we did have at one point, they've got kids and families now, and so getting out with them is almost impossible. So I was like, man, they should make a couples app. I've even contacted Tinder, Bumble. I contacted them all. I actually got through to the chief product officer of Tinder. He is the former chief product officer. He was leaving the company, but I got a hold of him on LinkedIn, and he was like, "Yeah, that's not a bad idea." I was like, "I know, it's a good idea. Help me build it, you scumbag." But the whole dating app thing is, when they are successful, they lose users, and that would stop them from losing the users if they could say, "All right, hey, now you've been upgraded to Couple Up," and you go to Couple Up instead of Tinder, and then you have other couples there who want to go out and have date nights. And the thing that I always got asked the very first time I pitch it to somebody usually is it a swingers app? I got that question like 5 times. I was like, listen, if people want to do that, they're adults. They could do that if they want to do that. If that's something that they're into, and it's all a mutual understanding that we're all in this together, that's fine by me. I don't care what you do in your bedroom. That's not my business. But it's not designed. It's not going to be designed as a swingers app. I thought I would have like some in my brain. I thought I would have some sort of key indicator on the profile, like the one that I thought of was like a freak flag. If they're letting a freak flag fly, they're down. And so but yeah, no, that was just one idea that I've had in my manic brain.
Nice.
Now, I know we've got a bit of baseball coming up. I mean, it's creeping up here. Ryan was talking just an incredible amount of shit about you guys. How he beat you guys down so badly that you had to restart the league. He crashed the code. Nothing could stop the black hole. It was unbearable, man. But he did actually do all those things, kind of. You got your research all done, or you're still kind of in research mode?
I mean, as far as Ryan is concerned, he has, he's a blind squirrel that found the nut. He got lucky. He spent 5 years rebuilding, and he walked backwards into a championship. So I don't think that Ryan's really anything to worry about as far as fantasy baseball is concerned in the future. And I don't think he'd probably say the same thing. I think he knows that I'm probably going to take the championship this year.
I would have liked to have seen at least one chance for him to defend the title, to see if it really was going to be a Ryanasty, or because now he can always say that he killed the league and he was just going to beat everybody, And I don't like that. I'm not even in the league.
He will continue to say that forever, but I don't know. I just felt like it was time to. It's unfortunate that we couldn't just keep it going, but I felt like with the participation and stuff that we need to do a drastic alteration to. We need to have some change in the league.
Well, I think you overcorrected a bit, in my opinion. Personally, I think you guys should still be doing auctions. I don't think you should go to a stupid snake draft. That's about the most Barney level thing that you could do. And the reason I say that is because, yes, the draft may help some people not get completely embarrassed, but with the level of participation being as it is, they're still going to end up in the cellar. You don't win a baseball league. You don't win trust me, I'm a champion. I'm a fantasy baseball champion, okay? You don't win a baseball league by drafting. You win it with your in-season moves and all the pickups and swaps and making sure your lineups are set and things like that. And the people who are dwellers in the auction league are still going to be dwellers in the snake league, because they're not going to be doing that stuff. And I think it was a bit of an overcorrection. I probably would have just said, "Hey guys, let's get rid of the minors and go down to like maybe 2 keepers or something like that, and kept the auction, kept it alive. So that way you would have curbed some of Ryan's ability, because he did have he was rattling off his lineup, and he did have a murderer's row of different people that he could have kept. So. It would have been interesting, but in fantasy baseball, nothing's guaranteed. He could ran into a crazy injury bug, or maybe since the Astros are caught cheating, maybe all those players get suspended. Who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, definitely some truth there. But I think it's still fun. We're just fantasy. It's just it's for fun. It's for friends. Just trying to.
Well, now you guys are
just trying to do something, I guess, a little different, So.
Yeah, I mean, you're playing this year for. I think I only see the group text. I kind of tune them out when you guys are talking about, since I got kicked out of the league. But I think you guys are playing for a little bit more money, and there's some penalties involved. You came up with some elaborate scheme of scoring that doesn't really make any sense, but it kind of makes sense. Because, the people that are at the top are generally going to be at the top forever, and the people at the bottom are going to be at the bottom forever. There's not really a lot of fluidity in the standings, but it will be fun to.
Yeah, we're definitely doing some interesting things to try to keep it. Just trying out some new things. So,
Now, in real baseball, do you have like a go-to, like, diehard favorite team or anything like that?
It's always been kind of. I'm more of a fantasy baseball fan, not really a general baseball fan, but I've always kind of liked the Astros, and now I like the Astros more. So the Astros are my team now.
Well, isn't that convenient, Mr. Astro Man? All of a sudden, coming out of the woodworks, poking his head out of the bushes. Oh, championships! Here I am. That's pretty good. I used to, when I was a kid, obviously, I'm a bandwagon fan by heart. I'm a huge bandwagon fan. My teams are in basketball and football are the Lakers and the Cowboys. So I am a bandwagon guy. And as a kid, I had the Braves. You know, I mean, the Braves were so dominant for so long. Even though they didn't win, they didn't actually win much. They were always in the mix. You know, and they had pitchers that everybody loved, and Deion Sanders was running around out there sometimes. So I really that was my team. And then as time kind of went on, and they eventually fell into obscurity, I kind of lost touch with the sport. And now that I don't have any fantasy baseball, I literally I'm gonna watch a baseball game until the playoffs start because it doesn't really matter, you know.
Yeah, well, for me, it's not the winning that the Astros have made me a fan. It's the cheating, and it's them being like the biggest sports heel in a long time. So that kind of solidified my fandom, I guess, for the Astros.
So you're also a Patriots fan then, since you like cheaters.
Yeah.
No, I was only joking. I know you're pretty into the Saints, right? You're a Saints fan.
Oh yes, for sure. Yes, Saints are, number one in my heart. They're best football team in the league.
Well, I mean they are always in the mix. Again, they're always in the mix. They've got a bit of a problem, I think, at quarterback. It's getting kind of awkward because you have to keep that. You have to keep that guy as long as he's available, I think. But if you look at history, some of the top quarterbacks of all time have ended up having to change teams because they get too old. Specifically, I mean, go all the way back to Joe Montana. I think Joe Montana went and played for the Kansas City Chiefs. Peyton Manning's playing for the freaking Broncos. Brett Favre played for multiple teams. So it's not unheard of to say, man, I'm sorry, we just can't pay you all that money at your current age. But I think with New Orleans,
I wish they would do that because he's got one of the worst playoff records in football. I think the Breeze era is done. I think it's time that we move on and try something different. I just don't know how long this playoff. We're good in the regular season, but when it comes playoff time, and it doesn't seem like he has that much arm strength anymore to make the necessary passes. I just think it's over with. And but we'll always be competitive. And I guess that's maybe I'm just a spoiled Saint fan, but.
Yeah, I mean, it's awkward, especially for him because of what he did, like came and won a Super Bowl right after Katrina. So it's like he's more heralded and more of a legend than even some of those other guys that I mentioned potentially. So it will be really sad to see him go, but I just can't see paying him top dollar. Because I'm of the ilk that you shouldn't pay any quarterback top dollar. And if you look back on the last 20 years of people who win Super Bowls, you'll find that only two in the last 20 years, by my calculation, were paid at the top level. And they were Peyton Manning when he was with the Colts and Drew Brees when he was with the Saints. Now, all the other ones, I mean, you have to factor in 9 Brady appearances, which isn't really fair because 9 Bradys is a lot of Bradys. But you have your Joe Flacco's, your Joe Flacco's of the world, your Russell Wilsons of the world. They win Super Bowls, And then the guy this year who won it, I mean, he's an extraordinary talent. But once you pay somebody $30-40 million, the rest of your team suffers. Because you have a salary cap. And so I am a diehard when it comes to the Cowboys, and they're going to pay Dak Prescott in the $30 to $40 million range. And, I guess that's what you do. But if I were an owner and any quarterback came into my room and was trying to negotiate a salary and they said they wanted that much money, I would say, well, sir, if you want that much money, I'm going to need to see at least 6 Super Bowl rings to get more than Tom Brady is getting right now. How did that ever happen?
Yeah.
How does that happen? How did everybody in the league get duped while Bill Belichick's over there like, nah, Tom, we need to restructure your contract and take a discount this year so we can have a good defense. And Tom's like, cool, man, I'm all right. I'm just going to keep making $15 million a year and be a Patriot forever. And then when I retire, I'll have some sort of managerial job, or maybe I'll retire and I'll just go collect checks for Bob Kraft and I'll have that money made up in endorsements. The real thing I'm getting at is, go ahead.
You're a Cowboy fan, and so you've been through some turmoil. I'm a Saints fan. I've been through some turmoil, and we kind of know what it's like. But there's some other teams in the league that are way worse than us, and I think they would probably get mad at this conversation. I mean, can you imagine being a Lions fan, a Cleveland fan? Some of these, horrific, NFL teams that haven't seen a playoff. They would just die to have a playoff appearance. We've like the Cowboys have been in kind of the playoff hunt for a long time. We have, so I feel like we may be a little spoiled.
I definitely got spoiled as a kid. I'll tell you that much. When they were winning Super Bowls all the time, I definitely got spoiled as a kid, and it's been a long time. But I'm saying right here, right now, on the A team, that the blueprint for a dynasty is out there, people. If you want to have a dynasty in football, you don't pay your quarterback $30 or $40 million. You pay him $15 million.
You gotta have a quarterback, though. You gotta have a good quarterback.
I understand that, but do you want me to pull up the
good quarterbacks get paid?
Do you want me to pull up the last 20 years of Super Bowls and show you how many people won the Super Bowl?
The blueprint's there. Tom Brady.
Well, no, I'm saying even if it isn't Tom Brady, there's other people that are flashing the pans that win the Super Bowl on a discounted contract, and then when they get paid, their team suffers and they don't make it back. Think Joe Flacco. Think Russell Wilson. These people, Patrick Mahomes is a generational talent potentially, so when he gets paid, maybe they'll be okay. But once you pay somebody that big contract, like I said, the team suffers. And here's another thing, right? They've already put kind of a ceiling on a running back, right? They don't pay running backs anymore because running backs are, they're irreplaceable. Yeah. If you have a good defense and a good running game and your team is solid and you have a game-managing type quarterback, you can win the Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer. You can win the Super Bowl with Brad Johnson. If you want a dynasty, though, you get a good. Tom Brady, obviously, GOAT, whatever. He's the best. Everybody loves Tom Brady. Gay, okay, whatever. But he's making $15 million a year, and so everybody around him is better because they can spread the money around. That's all I'm saying. And I think eventually they might get there. They might see it because think of all the jabronis who've gotten paid over the years. Sam Bradford, Matt Stafford, Andy Dalton, Kirk Cousins, all jabronis, dude. They're jabronis, bro. And the only reason, and the other thing that it really irks me is that they changed the rules fundamentally of the game to protect these guys so they could pay them. So now you can't even hit them, Like, I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. And if I was a Cowboys fan, I would say, hey, Dak, take $15 million. You're going to be a Cowboy for life. As long as you can play quarterback, you're always going to be a Cowboy. We'll keep paying you until the end of time. And then Jerry Jones has about a billion different little businesses that he can go set you up over here. And you get, the Dirk contract. Dirk took discount after discount after discount because he knew he was going to be working for Mark Cuban for the rest of his life. Just, wink, wink, nod, nod,
Yeah. That's the same thing with the Lakers getting Anthony Davis. He was able to just go over there on a discount because he knew that he'd make so much money in LA and working with LeBron. So when the Pelicans paid him like $6 million more a year. But anyways, sorry.
No, I mean, I'm not a Pelicans fan. It sounds like you got a little resentment there. And we can transition to the NBA because I love talking about my favorite team, the Lakers. Having LeBron now, it's really kind of torn me a little bit, especially after the Kobe death, because I think LeBron potentially could win not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7 in a row with Anthony Davis, as long as they're both able to maintain top flight levels.
For sure.
And that would, that would put him in like a higher stratosphere than Kobe. But Kobe was just, I've said it before, he was the closest thing we're ever going to see to Michael Jordan, and that one, that's tough for me.
So I love cheering against LeBron, and I know that you love cheering for LeBron. It's always very entertaining to see your passion for LeBron James. But him going to the Lakers, I can't stand the Lakers. I can't stand LeBron James. I love cheering it. Not that I don't have anything against him. He's just so fun to cheer against.
Well, right now he's kind of like his finals record is not great. It's not great. He's been swept out of the finals 2 separate occasions. Not great. Not great. He got beat by the Dallas. He got beat by the Dallas Mavericks. So you definitely have a leg to stand on. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to matter when the story's all finished. I think he's going to surpass. I mean, he's got a chance. He's got a chance to get 3 more. He does. He really does. If he can continue his level of play. I mean, he's leading the league in assists, Jake. He's leading the league in assists, Jake. Come on.
Yeah, he just I think he just feel like he decided like this year, like, hey, I'm just gonna lead the league in assists. He's incredible. He's probably one of the most gifted talents the NBA's probably ever seen. What he does, like, he stayed healthy like basically his whole career. And he's just so watching him play, he's just dominant. You can't do nothing against the guy. When you watch him, it does feel like you're like, it has that Jordan feel, like, you can't do nothing. He's just going to get his 35 points a game.
And watching him do his thing this year, people had always kind of compared him, they've always kind of compared him to Magic Johnson. And so seeing him in the Lakers gear, leading the league in assists and just making everybody get buckets, and like they're really going to be a problem. I don't see how anything's going to stop them. But you just never know. I guess in a way you never know. But I think at this point we kind of do know. If they match up against Milwaukee, I think that would be an insane series because you got Anthony Davis kind of going against Giannis at the same time. That would be kind of fun to watch.
That would be fun, but it's gonna be a fun year just getting to that match. I mean, he has to beat the other team in California. He's got to beat the Clippers.
Well, you don't have to beat them all. You don't have to beat them all. It really just depends on how it shakes out. How the bracket ends up coming out, because you don't have to beat all of those teams.
So I'm a Pelicans fan, and last night the Lakers purposely dropped the game to Memphis to hurt the Pelicans. So they won't be the 8th seed because there's a very tight playoff race going on right now for that 8th seed, and they don't want to see New Orleans.
So how did you come to this conclusion that they purposely dropped the game? What did they do specifically to lead you to believe that they purposely dropped the game?
They benched LeBron James, and Memphis has been on a losing streak. They're not that good. They're just not a very good team. And so they benched LeBron James last night, and they purposely took an L to give Memphis an edge to try to beat out the Pelicans, because they'd rather face Memphis than the Pelicans.
Oh, they're scared of the Pelicans. Is that it? They're scared of the Pelicans?
They're scared of the Pelicans.
They're fearful of the Pelicans, huh?
Yes.
I don't think so. I think there could possibly be. I'm not entirely sure, but there could possibly be some sort of draft pick scenario or something maybe that they might have been playing against. But I'm not entirely sure. But they're not scared of the Pelicans. The Pelicans and that 8 seed is really trash. They're both of them are under 500 by a wide margin. So it's going to be a cakewalk for them as long as the Lakers can maintain that top seed. And it's not unheard of for a little load management for the big guy. Just take a night off, no big deal.
No convenient load management. Nothing wrong with it.
Yep. Moving into kind of the get a little bit out of the sports realm and more into like TVs and movies. Any particular TVs, movies that really stuck out to you as you were growing up, or maybe something that you're watching now?
100%. If you've never seen RoboCop, go see RoboCop. I can't stress it enough.
RoboCop,
is the best movie maybe ever made.
RoboCop, nice.
And I don't think anything else. There's no other movie or TV show that I can really say that'll compare.
Nothing you watch. You're too busy to watch now, huh?
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It was kind of like, every kid's got their thing growing up, like their superhero, their X-Man. For me, it was like RoboCop or Ed 209.
Jeez.
And it's a very graphic film, so the train let me
dude.
watch that when I was like 5 years old, and let that.
That is not a kid movie. Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. Yeah, it's not a kid movie.
I was, as a kid, I would always go to like Blockbuster, and I'd be like 5 and want to pick out a movie, and I always go and pick out RoboCop. So that was
right
like
on. Sounds like your Lion King. Nice. Yeah, no, I think if I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong about this, I'd have to look it up on the internet, but I think that either RoboCop 1 or RoboCop 2 got an X rating because they were so violent. Honestly, I really do. It got the worst rating possible. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's definitely one. Maybe that's why it was so entertaining as a child. But like my name in fantasy, I'm always Dick Jones. Well, Dick Jones was the bad guy in RoboCop, so that's where that comes from.
I did not know that. I could never figure out why you were named that, that's interesting. Okay, all right. And then kind of switching gears, nothing on the small screen TV wise that you're watching now, or any movies that you've seen recently that you were like, oh, that's a good movie.
I feel like 1917 might have been one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Wow. I
thought it was an incredible movie experience. As far as TV stuff goes, I haven't really been. I feel like since Game of Thrones is gone now, there's a void. I haven't been able to fill that void.
I got turned on to a couple things. Chase told me to watch The Outsiders on HBO. It has kind of like a True Detective type feel to it. I won't give too much away, but it has Jason Bateman in there, and it was. I was happy that Chase recommended it, but it didn't. He was making it out to be something, and maybe when you watch it, you'll be like, oh yeah, this is awesome. But for me, I thought it was pretty good. I wouldn't have, but that one is one that I recently watched on HBO, and then trying to think, we watched Survivor, the old show Survivor, so we watch that every Wednesday. It's a nice one there, and then now I know before you were Mr. Pack Your Lunch, you'd make 2 sandwiches or so. Have you gotten into cooking? Have you gotten into cooking at all? Or you just pretty much just bachelor life? Just...
Man, I am back. If I wasn't already kind of, while I was married, I was still doing the sandwich thing and all that. And now that I'm back to being a bachelor, I mean, the cooking is very non-existent. It's frozen pizzas, it's peanut butter and jelly, it's eating McDonald's, Taco Bell.
Whoa.
So.
What about fitness?
Fitness?
Workout warrior? Workout warrior?
I am still in the gym, still living, still trying to get there 4 or 5 times a week, trying to get on the bike, put my miles in, hit the gym hard. Being single, you're always trying to fight off a funk. Initially, like the divorce there's still a taste there so you just getting to the gym every day or trying to just kind of helps your mind. And it's healthy and it's good. So
I am definitely I'm a sedentary. I don't do anything, dude. It's sad. It's so sad. I have no drive at all.
Get to the gym.
I have no drive. I actually canceled my gym membership in October. The guy came up to me and he tried to give me the old, what are you doing? And I was like, listen, buddy, I live a sedentary lifestyle. I understand. And he was like, I was hoping that he would come back with another one to try to convince me, because I just wasn't going to the gym. So I was like prepared to just drag him and be like, all right, look, man, it's October. If I have logged into this gym more than 10 times, I'll keep my membership. But if I haven't, I'm walking out the door. But he didn't even bother. I did lose 30 pounds though. I lost 30 pounds. I ballooned up to like 230 and was like, oh my God, I gotta get back. I can't be doing this. I was down to like in the 190 area, but I'm back up in the 200. I feel like 200 is about a good walk around weight for me, but maybe 205 at the max. But I don't know if it was the Army that it got all. I can't go run on a treadmill, and I can't just go lift weights. I'm just not into it. I don't find enjoyment in it. I try to play basketball these days. I'm too old. These young guys just kill me, and it's just not fun. So I'm like, nah, I guess I'm pretty much retired from working out.
I don't know if anybody loves being on a treadmill. It's always more enjoyable to sit on the couch, and you know what I'm saying. But if I could stress anything enough, I would say go to the gym, Austin.
Yeah, I've had different times in my life where I was going on the regular. Like I had a crew when I was working in Round Rock there. One of the dudes to put a garage in his gym, and like we would go after work and we would go work out, drink some pre-workout, and then everybody would try to set records on the weights, and it was really fun because I mean it was it was a bunch of bros growing out, music playing, blasting, cheering each other on, that kind of thing. That kind of camaraderie is what I need, because if it's just me, I'm not going to do it. And then my partner Dominique, she's a gym warrior. She goes to the gym all the time. She's always at the gym. She's gymming it up all the time. She's probably stronger than me. I'm kind of scared of her. If she ever got mad at me, I think she could probably take me. At this point. Yeah. So I gotta keep my head on a swivel sometimes. But she's there. She's working out all the time, and she's hinted at going to work out with her. But again, it's just like, man, I know you're just gonna go lift weights. And I've done that. I know what it's like, and I just don't get any satisfaction out of it. I really enjoyed when I could playing basketball, tennis, sports, to just get the exercise, but you're also playing a game. There's more to it than just the exercise aspect of things. So I know that I need to do it, and I got to figure out some way to motivate myself to do it. But I just there's nothing inside of me that's like, yeah, you should go do some physical activity,
Yeah. Well, I would try to find something there that you can stomach, because it does help mentally. Not really aesthetically,
Yeah, no.
but mentally. It helps more mentally than it does, visually, if that makes any sense.
Oh no, I know that for my specific condition, if I get in that depressed state, that's like the perfect cure for the depressed state. Whenever I get into my condition, is going to exercise, because you release all those endorphins and all those things that come out. But I'm on a pretty tight regimen of medicine. I'm as balanced as I've ever been, so I'm feeling great about that. I shed all the baggage that I had that was following me around, and like a snake shedding its skin. And I'm a new Austin, and I feel great about myself. Some things I could improve on for sure, but overall, I feel pretty good. Now you're coming around here to the end. Are you into? I mean, I know you do like the daily fantasy that we do, but do you do any kind of gambling, dabbling with the dark arts?
I do not dabble in that. The stuff that we do is basically, all I do. I don't really. It's just like, I've always found that the little fantasy stuff that we do is, I've done it a little bit, but I always found that like a little, daily football that we do, or any little side bet stuff we do, is much funner than just like going and picking parlays and football. And then also like doing parlays in football will humble you pretty quickly. Like you just see that, I don't know, it's hard to, you think you know something, and you very quick to realize everything you thought you knew will go right out the fucking window.
Yeah.
So I've learned even though I think I know sports and watch sports, I can't pick a winning football team for shit.
Yeah, no, I am with you there on the sports betting side of things. It is a very tough racket. There's reasons why these guys have big giant casinos, and there's huge.
Yeah.
There's a reason for all of that, and I have dabbled over the years, probably a little too much. I have really reined it in. I reined it in to basically one trip to Vegas every year. I'm heading out there. Single Jake should probably make an appearance, make his move. Tickets are usually pretty cheap to get out there. We're going the 19th to the 22nd for March Madness. We go every year. I also created a new way to do the March Madness tournament, which I think is an interesting way. Got a couple people signed up, trying to get a nice pool. But I think you're dead on when you say that it will humble you. That's about the best way I could put it too. You're like, oh yeah, how do I not win this? This is I'm never gonna lose this.
Yeah.
And
no,
there it goes. And then music. Any kind of favorite playlist you do, like the streaming music, or when you go to work out or you drive? What are you listening to?
I listen to a lot of like just instrumental stuff. Nothing really. I listen to a lot of music. I smoked a lot of weed, and listened to a lot of music in college and stuff like that. And I've just been kind of tuned out of music recently. But just basically just instrumental stuff. Something that's not gonna. I like to, because when I'm working, I like to have something on, but not something that's distracting. So basically, just like jazz, just random jazz, random instrumental stuff, but nothing specific.
Yeah, when I was driving Uber, I was definitely jamming the electronic music, the EDM style music, and then I got on a jazz kick there for a little while, and those were like, when I put on jazz, that was like the most compliments I got from riders about the music, and I was like, wow, people like jazz. I didn't know that. I never really got into that, but it was nice. It is instrumental. There's not a ton that, especially like when they're going at it, there's not like a lyric or a hook. And if you don't know the music, it it doesn't take that space in your brain, because when you're listening to something that
exactly.
it kind of takes just a little bit of space in your brain because you're kind of thinking along with the song, that kind of thing. But with jazz, it's so improvisational.
Yeah, so you can have like conversations. You can like, I feel like when there's like a beat or some type of hook or there's voices, like it kind of catches it keeps you from thinking in a weird way.
It does. I'm with you.
So it doesn't grab you. So I just like that instrumental where, you know, I can think, I can talk to people. It's not distracting. So yeah.
Yeah, no. Right on. And then
you verbalize that better than I can say it. So yeah, I've never been able to verbalize it like that, but yeah.
Now, Chase put me on, I don't know if you have Spotify or if you're using Pandora or how you're getting your music, but Chase put me on this genre, and at first I thought he was just messing with me, and I think he could possibly still be messing with me, but it's called Vaporwave.
Okay.
I had never heard of it. The best way I would describe it is kind of like a modern elevator music. So you might check it out. It's kind of in that same vein of like you're not gonna take up that brain space because it's just music that's playing. But some of it is kind of out there. It's futuristic, I guess I would say.
Cool. Yeah, I like that. So I'll definitely try that out.
All right. We're at the end of the program and looking at some final thoughts here. Do you have a favorite quote or maybe like a mantra that you live your life by?
I don't know. Just you know, just try to, you know, we've had some, you know, we've had like, if you listen to the Ron podcast, you know, you heard that we recently had some friends pass away, and you just try to, you know, I try to think about that daily, about how life is just kind of, you can't take it for granted. Tomorrow's not, you know, promised. It's easy to get caught up in the daily stress, the weekly stress, worrying about bills, you know, worrying about, you know, whatever stuff that, you know, in the big picture, you know, doesn't really matter. And just try to enjoy your life day to day, and no matter what, you know, whatever it is that you enjoy, if it's sitting on the couch watching Netflix, if it's, you know, eating a box of Mike and Ike's and watching Wheel of Fortune, just, you know, figure yourself out, and, you know, whatever you like to do and enjoy, do it. And just try not to get bogged down in the daily stresses of life, because tomorrow is not promised.
Yeah, no, and you know, that really hit me pretty hard whenever I found out about the Jacob Tracy thing. I was just like, man, this guy is like a roughneck, and he's just gonna go out on a car wreck like that. It didn't make sense to me. It still doesn't make sense to me. I feel like there's some sort of other story to it, but Costco had mentioned that Jacob confided in him and said sometimes he was dozing off at the wheel, so he could have just, you know, very easily, you know, you can doze off and you're, you know, in a situation where, you know, you're not here anymore. And and that's one of the reasons why I was so, I mean, I'm still really angry that we're not all getting together for the fantasy baseball draft, even though we're doing it online and it's a snake draft and blah, 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 blah. Like, we don't get these opportunities all the time, and I don't think it's unreasonable to hook up every maybe 2 times a year just to all hang out and, you know, have a good time together, because like you said, it's not promised tomorrow. So like, it really makes me mad when people are like, I don't know. Like, come on, man, let's make this happen. Let's make this happen. I know we got a big wedding coming up, and that's a trip, and they're talking about a big bachelor party, and that could be a trip. But the fantasy baseball and the fantasy football get-togethers, those should be held in high regard and basically penciled in every year. So that way, you know, like, you know, you negotiate with whoever you got to negotiate with in your life. You have to negotiate with them and say, honey, these 2 times a year, I'm going to be doing this. It's only 2 times out of 52 times a year, I'm going to be doing these things. So But mine, I think I've mentioned it. I think I've got the ultimate mantra. I think I have the winner. Can't be topped. Golden rule.
Okay.
I'll be going all in on the golden rule all the time. Treat others the way you want to be treated. And sometimes I wasn't living it as best I could because I have hurt some people in my life with my sharp tongue. I've done some terrible things, alcohol involved. So I do apologize to anyone who I've ever hurt, but it is my mantra, and that's how I choose to live my life there. But
that is a wonderful mantra, and I would like to maybe add to that. You treat others the way you want to be treated, but you also need to treat yourself. A lot of times you're your own hardest critic.
Right.
And a lot of times you're very hard on yourself more so than other people. And it's good to cut yourself some slack. So you can treat yourself good as well, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean that's wise. That's very wise advice. And I am definitely my own harshest critic, and I've been going through a bit of a rough patch, to be quite honest. Trying to steer the ship out of the friggin' rocks before I crash on the shore. But I think I've turned the corner. I think things are on the up and up. Any last words here before we call it a show here?
No, I think that's it. I think we covered it all. Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, that's another great episode of the A-Team. Thanks for tuning in, and be on the lookout. We'll get this next episode. I think I'm going to have on a professional poker player who has made his living playing online poker. So stay tuned for that, and check it out on the site, thesportguyaustin.com.